Enola Holmes is directed by Henry Bradbeer and stars Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill, and tells the story of Enola
Now, where
Holmes,
to begin?
who lives alone with her mother.
My mother named me Enola, which backwards
Sherlock
spells
Holmes
alone.
and Millie, his brother, comes to her home to take care of her and send her off to a school, boarding school sorts that trains girls to be ladylike, and she doesn't want any of that, and she wants to find her mother, and so she runs away from home from her brothers, and she meets up with a young boy, and then after she meets him, she gets side quest with him to help him get away from people who are out to kill him. Now, what this movie is actually a little bit more complex than I thought it would be. At first, I thought it would be like a fun little adventure mystery with Sherlock Holmes' sister, but I was surprised that I tried to have a more complex plot, like she's trying to be like Sherlock, and she uses a lot of detective skills here. I mean, it's a Sherlock Holmes kind of film, and you had to expect a sort of mystery with these movies that involve a Sherlock Holmes story. But I was still surprised by how engaging the film was. The film was pretty well directed. The shots were beautiful. I loved the performances from Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill, and I thought that they banter off with each other very nicely. The young boy, which I forgot the actor's name again, I'm terrible with names. She bounces off with him very well, and I do like their relationship with one another. And the boy himself, the actor who plays him, did a pretty good job. Just as a story, I felt was clumsy in a way. I get what it's going to be about, but it feels like the movie itself is like two different movies. And not in a way like you don't notice it, but it's in a way where the story actually feels sloppy and misguided, or it has no direction on where it wants to go, or which kind of ending it wanted to do. And the story with her mother, which is supposed to be the emotional core of her leaving, at the end, when things start to come to a conclusion, the film actually forgot about it at some point, and then when it got to that conclusion, it felt hollow. And I did not really feel anything from the character of Enola. And that is due to the screenplay. I feel like in that area it was a bit sloppy, and they did not know which mystery they wanted to focus on. And at the end they just wanted to focus on the murder mystery because that's the most exciting and engaging part. And I was engaged with that, but I was always like, what about the stuff with her mother? And I always felt like that was always sidelined. Also, it doesn't help that there was one scene involving one of the characters from Enola's past and Sherlock Holmes where it just felt so 2019, 2020-ish. The dialogue in this one particular scene just did not feel natural given the time they are living in and the way they're supposed to be acting. It just felt like a weird scene to put in. You probably know what I'm talking about. It's when Henry Cavill meets a headmistress of a tea cafe, and upstairs she is a jujitsu. I'm terrible at pronouncing certain fighting techniques. I am terrible at language arts. Just kidding. I'm not that bad. Don't worry. But these two characters had a discussion, and it just did not feel natural. I always felt like in this particular scene, that's more of a lecture, like it's talking down to the audience. And I do not want to feel like that in this film. I wanted to have a good time. I wanted to have a fun time solving a mystery with our characters. Whether it's Enola or Sherlock, I just wanted a fun mystery, and I do not want to be talked down to. That's the one thing I hate in movies, is when there's a scene or when the entire movie wants to talk down to the audience in some sort of way that makes them feel stupid. And I just didn't like it. That's what I gotta say. In the screenplay, just did not help at all. And it made the film considerably worse than it should have been. I was having such a good time with the first act. It wasn't perfect, but it was a good start. Second act, the cracks are starting to show. And then the third act, the emotional weight wasn't there for me when it tried to land it. And overall, it just made me left underwhelmed. Well, I still somewhat enjoyed this movie. I feel like I am a bit too harsh. I would be a bit too harsh on it. But after watching the movie, I thought I had a good time. But looking back at it, there was a lot of weird screenplay things that happen that don't really connect very well with one another. And it made the main story just sloppily done. It was easy to get through, but it was still somewhat of a mess to get through also. I wouldn't say it's the most convoluted film ever. Like it was horribly convoluted. It wasn't like that. It was just a little convoluted to the point where it just ruined all the emotional weight that it was going for, and it just left me underwhelmed. I will still say check it out. It is still a fine, fun mystery movie if you want to play it for young Enola Holmes fans or Sherlock Holmes fans in general. You'll probably have a good time, but for me, I was disappointed, and for that reason, I'm going to give Enola Holmes a C+. I know a lot of people really enjoyed this one, but for me, it was just a mess, and I did not really expect much at first, but it could have been so much better. It had the potential, and it had great actors, but it really did not do much for me. And this is just my opinion. You'll probably think something different. You'll probably enjoy it, but this is just me. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. People like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.